everyone, welcome to Year 3 English, Week 3, Lesson 12. So today we are going to be looking at splitting our sections of our story into more specific sections. We're going to be using this narrative plot structure to work through. You can see there's 5 different areas of our story that we'll be looking at today. So we're going to use our example text of Pam and Lily when we do it together, and then you're going to go and do the same thing for the text of Curly to the rescue. So on this plot structure, you can see that we start off with an orientation. So the whole point of an orientation is to introduce the setting and the characters. We then go up to our rising actions. Now these are all building tension through problems or conflicts, and then once we get to the top there, that peak, that's where we've hit our climax. That's the biggest part of our problem. After that, we start seeing our falling actions. So this is where we start seeing things fall into place, solutions fall into place, ready for that big final solve of our problem. And then the last part, our resolution there, which is where everything gets resolved, and we sort of see what's happening now after the resolution, and what's happening at the end of the story. What are our characters doing? What has been that change? So that's there for you to refer back to if you need to. Don't forget throughout this lesson to send through any work or any notes or anything that you need so that your teachers can give you feedback. So this is the template we're going to be using. Remember, you need 2 of those because one we're going to use for Pam and Lily and the other we're going to use for Curly to the rescue. We're going to start by filling this out together based on the Pam and Lily example text, and after we've gone through this, then you'll be doing the Curly to the rescue independently. So we're going to begin by looking at the orientation and the rising actions part of this organizer. So this organizer, we're going to need a little bit more specific information. It's not quite as basic as our previous one because now we're diving into a bit more precise information or precise sections of our story. So I'm about to go ahead and show you some examples of my answers for these sections. You can either pause and go and have a go by yourself, or you can have a look what I've written and then have a go at the rest of this activity by yourself as we go through the PowerPoint. So if you're going to do that, make sure you press pause now, and then when you're ready, press play and continue on with us. Okay, so I've included basic information about these events. The orientation is how the story starts. It gives us the basic information about our story, including the setting and the characters. So I've put there where the story is set. It's set at a school. Who are the main characters? Pam, who is a student at the school. Lily is a new student to the school. The rising action is the things that start happening before the problem or the climax occurs. So they might be little problems that are happening along the way, but they're not the major thing. They might be things that all help build the major problem in the story. So for ours, it's Pam is mean to the other kids. She doesn't do what the teacher tells her to do. She is always angry. So if you don't have those written down, go ahead now, pause the video, add them in, and then press play when you're ready to move on with us. Okay, so the next part is the climax. This part of the story is where the problem hits its peak. So we will need to be slightly more specific in this part and be able to differentiate between where the rising actions stop and where it becomes the climax or that main part of the problem. So I'm about to go on to where I've put in an example of an answer for this bit, so please pause the video now, go and have a go yourself, and then press play when you're ready to check my answer out. Okay, so I've put in here, Pam was being a bully to Lily and would take her lunch and books and hit her. So that was our main climax in the story. That was the biggest part because that then triggered our solution to start building and our solution to start happening. So moving on, the next part we're going to look at is our falling action or actions. So in this part here, we look at what is happening after the big conflict or the big climax. So this is where we'll start to see the formation of our solution or our resolutions. I'm about to go on to where I've put in my example for this answer. I would like you to go and have a go first before looking though. So make sure you pause this video. Once you've had a go, press play so you can have a look at my example. Add anything that you missed out or anything else that you think of along the way. Okay, so there are two key events that we can add into this section of our planner that are both falling actions leading to the resolution in our story. So Lily talked to her mum about Pam, and her mum suggests that maybe she needs a friend. So that's one of our falling actions. It's forming part of our solution that we're going to see happen in our story. Lily then offers to share her lunch with Pam. So that there was our main solution in our story. It was our other falling action. That's what's happening as we come down, and it's going to result in our resolution. So the last part for this activity is we're going to include how the problem was solved and what happened at the end of the story. So this is what's happened after those falling actions. So what has it all resulted in? What is that change? We talked about our character changing throughout our story. This is an area in our story where we should see that character change again. So I'm about to go through to my example of this answer, so please pause it, go and have a go yourself, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, so our resolution, Pam now had a friend, which was Lily. She was kind to all other students and teachers. She played well and smiles and laughs. So the solution there, or the resolution, is she has a friend now. And that's resulted in her being kind to other students and teachers, and she plays well, and she smiles and she laughs. Okay, so that is it for today. Please make sure you have had a look at all of that from today. If you need, go back and have another look. Go do this same activity for Curly to the rescue. In tomorrow's lesson, we're going to be having a closer look at the theme of friendship to start getting us ready to plan for our own narrative based on the theme of friendship.